In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. We just had a May monthly closing price of 67,500, actually the best May closing price since 2019. Also, breaking news, Nayib Bukele has been officially inaugurated as the president of El Salvador. I was watching the stream earlier on X, had over 250,000 views. Congratulations, Bukele and El Salvador. We'll also be discussing 3 signs that the Ethereum price will finally break 4,000 this month of June. Happy first of the month, fam. We'll also be discussing U.S. President Crooked Joe Biden votes SAB 121 repeal. Unfortunately for the crypto folks here. But what do you expect coming from Crooked Joe Biden? Just saying. We'll also be discussing Japanese crypto exchange has been hacked for 305 million worth of biddies. That's right. Also, we'll be breaking down Binance founder CZ receives support from the crypto community as his jail term starts. Also, Lyn Alden predicts Bitcoin price can hit $1 million amid the lagging CBDCs. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show.
Oh my gosh, it's finally almost here. JV is going to talk to us. Crypto news is near. I can't stand waiting. There is no debating. I waited all day, maybe I need a life. But Bitcoin is all I can think about day and night. Hurry, JV.
If you're new to the YouTube channel, I encourage you guys to smash the likes and hit the subscribe button. That helps out tremendously, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching the stream on X, very important, hit the repost. It's free to do so. Show your support. Again, much appreciated. Today is pod episode number 1657. I'm your host, JV, and it is the first of the month. Get up, get up. June 1st, 2024, family. Going to be another splendid month for the markets. Mark my words. But anyways, family, yeah, let me know where you're tuned in from. This is a live and interactive show. We're going to kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. The entire market back in the green, baby. Bitcoin above 67,700, Ether above 3,800, even Solana, XRP, Cardano, and AVAX all pumping and in the green. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. We're currently sitting on a 2.53 trillion market cap with 49 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. The Bitcoin dominance 52.7% with Ether dominance at 18% even. Checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours. We got Notcoin, which is up 22%. We got Jasmy up 18% and Ondo up 11%. Below that, ENS, Chiliz, Axie Infinity, and BitGet token. Which particular alts are the broskies most bullish on for the bull? Holla. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective on the daily. Safe to say 80 to 85% of the market in the green, and zooming out for a broader perspective on the monthly. Maybe similar, 80% of the market in the green, but even bigger gainer. So collectively pretty well for the overall crypto market for the past 30 days. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Today we're 72. Greed yesterday 73. Last week 76. And last month of 43 in fear. So there you have it. Crypto fam, we did get the May monthly close above roughly 67,500. We'll be discussing that here in a bit. Let me know how many of you watched Bukele's inauguration. Man, that was pretty lit. I saw like 200,000+ people on the live stream. That's pretty amazing, yo. Everyone was there. Even Trump was there. Javier Milei was there. Obviously, Max and Stacy, all the Bitcoin supporters were there, but it's pretty lit. So I just want to show my special love and appreciation today for Bukele and the beautiful people of El Salvador. You can see I'm rocking like the El Salvadorian colors today, right? With the Georgetown jersey. Anyways, biddy. Don't you see? Sometime your sats just hypnotize me, and I just love yo biddy way. I guess that's why they broke and y'all so paid. Y'all can put me on real BTC-ish, S-Cargo, my cargo, 160 swiftly. Rest in peace, Biggie. Let's kick it off with our Bitcoin TA. Then we'll do some Ethereum TA, and we'll continue with the news. Obviously, we just had a monthly close, as Plan B wrote here. Bitcoin May closing price was 67,477. So safe to round up, 67,500. Well, Bitcoin pump after the halving again. You bet your bottom dollar, yo. So yeah, here you're looking at the 1 hour chart, trading at 67.5 into June 1st as the last minute Bitcoin price volatility cost the bulls a final shot at the key resistance. Data from TradingView showed Bitcoin flat on the monthly close after recovering from the weekly lows. These had come courtesy of concerns over the crypto exchange hack in Japan, which we'll be breaking down in greater details later. It was like a $305 million hack. 305 million worth of crypto was drained from the exchange. United States macroeconomic data in the form of the PCE index failed to lift the mood substantially despite the narrowly beating expectations, showing inflation to be slowing. Quoting SKU Analytics here, price has retraced pre-PCE price action, mostly driven by the unwinding into the event itself. Very important to see developing market flows from here, especially spot flow, spot bid plus demand needed for the higher. Lower could see some FOMO hedges leading into a trap later. And in the event, Bitcoin reversed at around 66,650, delivering a close, which put May monthly gains at 11%. 11, let's go. And quoting Van Day Pop, Bitcoin is consolidating nicely here. The markets are in an equilibrium and slowly waking up for further upward momentum. Crucial area to hold is at 66 G's, baby. And meanwhile, delving deeper into the latest Bitcoin price behavior, trading resource material indicators put the blame for volatility firmly with the Bitcoin whales. That's right, large volume traders have played with liquidity into the monthly close, resulting in a failed attempt to flip 69,000 to support. Quoting Keith Allen, a killer whale dropped a brick of Bitcoin-ass liquidity on the market and hammered down a wick above 69,000. Now support at 67,000 is being exploited, and we have yet to see any new liquidity come in at above 65,000. The great shakeout continues. So there you go. And as you can see here on the liquidity chart for Binance, it shows liquidity levels for Bitcoin / USDT, along with the volumes from various whale cohorts, killer whale games in action. So there you have it. Now, again, I want a special shout out to Bukele, just officially inaugurated as the president of El Salvador for the next 5 years. Wishing him and his beautiful wife a very prosperous term, and may Bitcoin continue to prosper as it has in the first Bitcoin country. They officially made Bitcoin legal tender. This was all the way back in 2021. I believe it was the year after MicroStrategy adopted Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. First publicly traded company to do so. So very much respect this couple and respect what he is doing for humanity. And in my humble opinion, actually, I think it was Molly who wrote a very good comment, and I couldn't have put it better than myself, so I retweeted it, and I want to read it to you, what she wrote, because I have the same sentiment. Wow, America needs a president we can all be this proud of. Long live Bukele and his second Bitcoin term. Bukele is the most respected and honest president we have ever seen in our lifetimes, and I truly believe that. Let me know if you guys agree. And again, shout out Bukele and the beautiful people of El Salvador. Let's dive into a little Ethereum TA. It says 3 signs Ethereum will finally break 4,000 in June. I mean, we're less than $200 away from it right now, just FYI. So as of June 1st, Ether had entered the breakout stage of its prevailing falling wedge pattern. A falling wedge is a bullish reversal pattern characterized by 2 descending converging trend lines. And as a rule of technical analysis, this pattern resolves when the price breaks above the upper trend line and rises by as much as the wedge's maximum height. On May 20th, the ETH price broke above the wedge's upper trend line with a rise in trading volume, confirming its bias to reach the pattern's upside target of $4,255 by June's end, up 12.6% from the current price levels. Interestingly, the ongoing breakout further appears to be a part of the bull flag pattern, characterized by 2 parallel downward sloping trend lines, as outlined here in the charts. And as a rule of TA, bull flags resolve when the price breaks above the upper trend line and rises as much as the previous uptrend's height. This puts ETH en route to 6,000 per ETH by June's end or early July. Let me know. Do you feel Ethereum will break out from the previous all-time high in the 4,000 to 5,000 range and surpass 6,000 by this month's end or by early July, maybe by July 4th, Independence Day? Let me know. Now, Ether's potential to reach 4,000 receives further boosts from the richest cohort. That's right. According to on-chain data resource Sentiment, the Ether supply held by entities with a balance at 10 to 100 million ETH have increased by circa 0.5% since May 20th, when rumors about the US SEC reconsideration towards the spot Ether ETF denials all began. And here you can see the Ether supply distribution amongst the whales. The accumulation coincided with 19% ETH/USD price boom. It kept growing after the spot Ethers received official approval from the SEC May 23rd. And conversely, the Ether supply held by entities with a 1 million to 10 million ETH balance declined sharply during the ETH price rally, suggesting profit taken had taken place. But at the same time, the Ether reserves across the crypto exchanges have declined sharply more recently. This shows that most investors are withdrawing their ETH holdings from the exchanges. And I remind you, remove all of your crypto off the exchanges. Put it in self-custody where it's safe, family. Shout out to LockSky real quick. He just gifted 5 memberships to the channel. So shout out to the Ali Rizza, Resurrecta in your sector, the Midwest Picker, Shaitan Patel, Manuel Pedroza, and Johnny R. You've all been hooked up with the MicroStrategy membership of the channel. On behalf of the one and only Lock Sky, greatly appreciate that, Lock. You the man. Now, the SEC may approve spot Ether ETFs in June, hence why we would hit new all-time highs. According to the analyst, there is a legit possibility. Let me know if you agree with that. Now, this is a good sign. We'll probably see the rest roll in soon, said Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas. And he also predicted spot Ether ETFs to take in 10 to 15% of the flows that the spot Bitcoin ETFs have seen in the earlier days after the launch. The spot Bitcoin ETFs have seen net inflows of 13.8 billion since their launch back in January. I mean, look at this. Bitcoin total ETF, total cumulative flow in US dollars in the millions. Just nuts how fast they're doing it. The successful launch of the Ether ETFs in June, accompanied by significant capital inflows, suggests there is a rising demand for ETH. These factors can push Ether's price above 4,000 over the next 30 days. Let me know if you agree or disagree, fam, with that sentiment. Next story of the day, yo. Let's discuss the crypto bill that unfortunately just got vetoed by Crooked Joe, unfortunately. Check this out. United States President Crooked Joe has vetoed a resolution that would have overruled the U.S. SEC Staff Accounting Bulletin, SAB number 121. The controversial decision was immediately met with criticism from the crypto industry. Quoting them here, "We're disappointed that the admin chose to overrule bipartisan majorities in both House of Congress who recognized the harm created by SAB 121, said crypto advocacy group the Blockchain Association, who declared on May 31st, following Biden arguing that challenging the proposed guidelines would compromise the SEC's authority. Well, now we know who Gensler boss is, right? This reversal of the considered judgment of the SEC staff in the way risks undercutting the SEC broader authorities regarding accounting practices, Biden wrote. Well, his handlers wrote, because Biden probably can't even write anything. You know that. "My administration will not support measures that jeopardize the well-being of consumers and investors," said Crooked Joe. Now, the guidelines were set to take effect April 11th, but were met with considerable backlash from the crypto community and lawmakers alike. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives voted to repeal the SEC guidance by a margin of 228 to 182 and passed the bill to the Senate. Once there, Senator echoed the House vote and elected to repeal SAB 121 by a significant margin, 60 to 38 votes. The wider crypto community expressed their frustrations by the decision on social media, arguing it only stifles innovation and hinders the industry during this critical time. "This is a slap in the face to innovation and financial freedom." Amen. And Garlinghouse said to say that this is incredibly disappointing from this White House at an incredibly pivotal time is an understatement. So there you have it. Here's my thoughts to that. This is how I feel to Sleepy Joe doing the following, vetoing the crypto bill. JV, mess them up. Yeah, because they not like us.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
You already know. Let's go to our next story of the day. Discuss this Japanese exchange being hacked for 305 million worth of Bitcoin. Good Lord. The Japanese crypto trading platform DMM Bitcoin. Let me know if you've ever heard of it. I've never heard of it, probably because we don't use Japanese exchanges here in the States, but nonetheless, they fell victim to a hack, resulting in a massive loss of biddies worth $305 million. That's more than $250 million, Joe. Nuts. The exchange confirmed the attack, revealed 4,500 Bitcoins were drained from their systems. DMM Bitcoin has not provided additional detail regarding the breach, but stated that it is conducting an investigation and has implemented measures to avoid a reoccurrence of such an attack. Following the incident, the Bitcoin exchange stated it had put measures in place to prevent any further unauthorized outflows of crypto from the platform. According to its official announcement posted on the exchange's website, the company pledged to cover all the Bitcoin deposits, to reimburse customers completely, and stated it plans to acquire an equivalent amount of the lost Bitcoin with the backing of its group companies. Quoting them here, "Please be assured that we will procure the equivalent amount of Bitcoin, equivalent to the outflow of the support of the group companies, and guarantee the full amount." Well, good for them. Now, the DMM Bitcoin said it had implemented the restrictions, halting all spot purchase transactions on the platform. The exchange also cautioned users that withdrawals involving the Japanese yen may experience significant delays compared to the normal processing times. Now, back in 2020, another popular Japanese exchange was hacked, during which personal info and emails were reportedly compromised. The breach occurred between May 31st and June 1st, 2020, when a third party assessed CoinCheck's domain registration service, altered domain information, and gained illegal access to customer emails. CoinCheck was also hacked for $533 million. That's more than $500 million. Damn. Primarily consisting of NEM tokens in 2018. I remember NEM. Whatever happened to NEM? The breach was largely attributed to the exchange's inadequate security measures at the time. Instead of using offline cold wallets or secure multi-sig wallets as recommended by NEM, CoinCheck stored most of its clients' NEM in a single online hot wallet protected by just one private key. Those online hot wallets are very questionable, family. That's why we highly encourage cold wallets. They could have avoided a $500 million hack. And of course, if you use multi-sig, it's going to even make it that much more secure. Now, I want to quote Cynthia Lummis, U.S. Senator. "The Biden administration is doing everything they can do to stop Bitcoin's success. It is time for a president that understands how important Bitcoin is for America's future." So there you have it. Crypto La Familia. But anyways, fam, next story of the day. CZ, let's discuss the latest with him. You know, he had to pay that $4 billion fine to the Department of Justice, had to step down as the CEO, and he's about to serve his jail time. So let's break it down. CZ, founder of Binance, as we know is the world's largest crypto exchange, reported to a low security federal prison. Interesting, in Lompoc, California, not too far from where I lived, to begin serving his sentence. Shout out Lompoc. According to a CNBC report, the information was verified with his legal team, so it looks like he's already started his prison sentence. Gonna knock that mofo out. Members of the crypto community expressed their admiration for the former CEO as he's taken into custody. A Reddit user mentioned that the prison sentence is a positive move by CZ as it protects Binance from potential risks. That's right, quoting him here. "If FTX downfall hit crypto hard, just imagine what would have happened if Binance collapsed. He pleaded guilty and stepped down as CEO." Yeah, and I respect him because unlike Bankman-Fried, he didn't scam everybody and lie to everybody and take everybody's money. I feel, honestly, he's one of the good guys in crypto. Now, I mean, in a perfect world, maybe he wouldn't have had to have served prison time, but he did break some laws and he did admit guilt to them. The only difference is he didn't steal everyone's money like the fraudster Bankman-Fried. So you got to respect him. Following his sentencing, CZ outlined his post-prison plans, revealing his intentions to resume his involvement in crypto once he completes his 4-month sentence at Lompoc Prison. As shared here, CZ started his prison sentence in a low-security federal prison in Lompoc. Low security means a type of prison where the prisoners have the most amount of freedom because they are not considered dangerous and are trusted not to escape. Well, that's good to hear. At least that's something good. Specifically, he plans to maintain his existing crypto holdings. Let's not forget, he's one of the richest people in crypto, if not the richest. He's up there. His fortune is staggering. At once read, it was like $40 billion or something like that. He emphasized that this period represents a new stage for the crypto industry, underscoring the importance of compliance with regulations and rules. In the April hearing in the U.S. District Court of the Western District of Washington, CZ was sentenced to 4 months in prison by Judge Richard Jones for charges related to money laundering at his crypto exchange. He was also ordered to pay a $50 million fine. The former Binance chief's sentence is significantly less than the 3-year federal prosecutors initially recommended. Despite the sentencing guidelines calling for a prison term in 12 to 18 months, CZ's lawyers requested to be given 5 months of probation. And before being sentenced, CZ apologized for his actions and said he had a lot of quiet time alone to think and reflect. He added he accepted responsibility for Binance's failure to implement an effective anti-money laundering program. I personally feel he was targeted since the collapse of FTX. They all started pointing the fingers his way, from Bankman-Fried to the regulators and so on. Following the judge decision, CZ would present himself at a date to be determined to report to prison. Then in November, CZ reached an agreement with the U.S. government to resolve a multi-year investigation into Binance. As part of the settlement, CZ resigned as the company's CEO. The U.S. also ordered the former CEO of Binance to pay $4.3 billion, good Lord, in fines and forfeiture for civil regulatory enforcement actions, and he also agreed to pay a $50 million fine. So there you have it, yo. What are your thoughts on CZ? But anyways, fam, now for our featured story of the day. Lyn Alden was recently sharing at a conference, and she says the Bitcoin price can go to $1 million amid lagging CBDCs, which she shared at this interview. So I want to break down some of the highlights here. Shout out to Lyn Alden. She's been a pro Bitcoin advocate for many years and is very insightful. So let's break this down. So she was asked the question, what's the thesis behind Bitcoin's valuation for the general public? And I'm going to read you what she shared. I think that the key thing before we get to valuation is what problems does Bitcoin solve? Ever since the dawn of the telegraph, the development of the telegraph, and all the other telecommunication systems that come from that, we have separated transaction speed from settlement speed by a huge margin. If you want to settle a bearer asset with each other, like gold, what's going to take a comparable amount of time and expense? Whereas we can now make a transaction as easy as an internet click, and the transaction is the settlement. That's what makes Bitcoin so genius, fam. And that, in some cases, has been the case since the late 1800s. When they invented the telegraph, they started to do Morse code transactions while still having a gold standard. And so in this century and a half plus, any fast long distance transfer involves credit. You're going through someone's ledger or a series of ledgers to get there. And there's a couple of ramifications in the modern era. If you fast forward to what the situation is now, there's 160 different currencies in the world. Actually, more than that. But that's kind of the minimum number. And each one of them is a little bubble because they are arbitrage and a difference between speed and settlement, like transaction and settlement. Facts. And so if we think of how money flows in or out of a country, there are two main ways. One is physical ports of entry, so you can bring cash or gold through an airport, but you're obviously going to be very restricted. And you can also transfer money through wires in and out of the banking system, but of course, there's very heavily controlled by the country. That's right. So some countries have open capital markets, others have strict capital markets. Some have their own struggling, ever inflationary, occasionally hyperinflationary ledger. And this is not a small problem. This is dozens of countries and billions of people. Most of the developing world, essentially, sometimes their fault, sometimes external things they can't control. But either way, people are trapped in these currency bubbles. And what Bitcoin does, Bitcoin is the first method of sending a long distance value transfer quickly. It doesn't rely on a centralized ledger with credit. You're going through a distributed network. You're sending a digital bearer asset to someone that can only really be reserved with a majority minor attack, which is a different thing than credit. And so this means, for example, you can memorize 12 words representing your private key and bring $1 billion with you through an airport. Amen to that. You can pay someone. I could hire a graphic designer in a given country and pay them with a QR code over a video call like this, or with an email or a DM. So any two internet connected points can now send value, which goes around these existing firewalls. In addition, it means you have globally portable capital, so you can have savings that you can bring with you anywhere in the network, that is globally distributed and has a hard cap supply of 21 million coins. Bitcoin has the most liquidity, decentralization, and security amongst the cryptos. And so that has a macro consequence. It solves a problem for some people that maybe those of us in the United States aren't fully aware of in terms of global scale. That's a huge total addressable market. In addition, stablecoins do a similar thing, at least for weaker countries. So the US can have dollar stablecoins, or Switzerland can have gold stable coins, or even an entity like Italy could issue dollar stable coins as a euro dollar. And basically, they can price those assets into jurisdictions like Argentina, Lebanon, Nigeria, or any other currency problem jurisdiction where people might want to hold these assets. And those are centralized, but they're in a different hub. So whether it's fully decentralized like Bitcoin, or at least geographic arbitrage like those others, this is a relevant new tech. And so the total addressable market of this, basically any percentage of your net worth that you might want to have in self-custody and globally portable, why wouldn't that be a few percent at least, or 100% all in, just saying. When you run the numbers on 500 trillion plus in global assets, it's not hard to hit numbers like $1 million per Bitcoin, because it's still a tiny percentage of the global assets, and it's a scarcer asset than gold in terms of supply growth, and it's portable. Amen to that. How many of you agree that Bitcoin is inevitably heading towards $1 million? Holler at your boy. And so the main question comes down to, can anyone find a way to tactically disrupt the network? Can anyone find a way to break the incentive structure and centralize this network? Can someone make a better network that does a similar thing more efficiently? And if the answer is no to those things, the longer time goes on, we kind of test all these different things. And then it's natural that it's going to keep getting market share unless one of those disruption events happen. And one more question I'm going to read you the answer to. What are your thoughts on central bank digital currencies, better known as CBDCs? And here's what Lyn shared. We delineate between the strongest nations and most other. So Nigeria has actually been probably the most active case study of what happens when you try to launch central bank digital currency. So they launched the e-Naira a handful of years ago, and they've had very low adoption. And that was accompanied with cutting off crypto exchanges from their banking system. So it is not illegal to own digital assets in Nigeria, but it is purposely harder to do so. And they try to restrict physical cash. They have launched the e-Naira, and yet Nigeria is one of the highest jurisdictions in terms of adoption rate for digital assets. This is from Chainalysis. They don't really segment asset by asset, but a lot of that is Bitcoin and stablecoins and the long tail of other things. It is not a guarantee that when a central bank digital currency is launched, it just wins because the Naira is inflationary, so the e-Naira is also inflationary. It comes down to the country's inability to maintain a ledger and the willingness of those people to seek alternatives. Now entities like the United States or China or the European Union or Japan, they have a lot of firepower to have a more successful central bank digital currency launch than when it comes down to their different rules of law. So the United States has numerous kind of legal checks and balances that could slow down the launch of a CBDC or the unwillingness to do so. Whereas China is being more centralized and hence is ahead of the curve in this. And so in any country, it's just going to be successful in terms of having high adoption of a central bank digital currency and fairly low adoption of things like Bitcoin or external stables. It is probably going to be places like China. The way I look at it, anything that China has trouble banning has a degree of power to it. So China has, quote unquote, banned Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining a number of times. And if they banned a centralized network, it's just one and done. Where if they ban Bitcoin, it's like Groundhog Day. It keeps coming back. And it's kind of remarkable to see the 2021 China Bitcoin mining ban because they had previously done that a number of times before it really stuck this time. This time they actually kind of went to the mattresses on it and it stuck. So you have half a network offline in about a week. And if that happened to Microsoft or Amazon and they were told you just move your server infrastructure internationally next week, they would have major disruptions for months in their services. Whereas with the Bitcoin network, it had 100% uptime. It slowed down just a little bit. And after a week or two, that difficulty adjustment kicked in and went right back to normal operation. And then over the next several months, those mining machines dispersed around the world to wherever they could get cheaper power in a reasonable jurisdiction. A lot of it was North America, but also elsewhere. That's right, places like Texas, fam. So the network's actually more decentralized now. So all for the better. And then ironically, after a little while, some of it reemerged Back to China. China is still top, second, or third jurisdiction for Bitcoin mining, believe it or not, even though they attempted to ban it. And so that just shows sticking power. So I think there will be a period of time where Bitcoin coexists with some powerful central bank digital currencies. So there you have it. What are your thoughts with Lyn Alden's $1 million Bitcoin price predictions and her insights on CBDCs? Holla at your boy. And welcome to the Q&A segment of the live stream. I'm going to read as many of these comments out loud as I can. Let's get it. FCBDC. Amen to that, JC. Ice, baby. I agree, JV. A Bitcoin and go to 1 million. It can go to 10 billion. Finite and finite, which means the price can go infinite. And it should go infinite forever, Laura. That's right. Amen to that.
There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? The point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura.
Bada boom, bada bing. Well said, Mikey Sailor. BLX weekly post-halving Bitcoin August grows 2 fibs. Levels per cycle, 1.114 fib. Sits at 400,000, 1.236 fib. Sits at 2.8 million. Yes, million. Before the next halving, do your own TA. Beyond that, the numbers are crazy awesome. Bring it. It's going up forever, Laura. HJB, I said that right. Do the math. Shout out facts. What it do? 1 million is just a matter of when. Agreed. My personal prediction is 2029. I think the cycle peak of the next cycle. However, I'm still open to the possibility of hitting a milli this year, as Bitcoin have no top, as fiat have no bottom, and especially with the, relentless depreciating value of the dollar. Anything is possible, family.
Take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. Then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin.